Secret Success Hypnosis Clinic presents the Hypno to Hypno podcast. For more information, visit secretsuccesshypnosis.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hypno to Hypno podcast, where you can learn about hypnosis, hypnotists around the world, and what kind works for you. My name is Johanna Dinsdale, clinical hypnotist and founder of Secret Success Hypnosis Clinic. Today, our guest speaker is the amazing Jennifer Elliott, certified hypnobirthing and childbirth educator, doula, and childbirth educator. She is the founder of Life's Journey in Toronto, Ontario, and a member of National Guild of Hypnotists, Association of Ontario Doulas, DONA International, as well as the Association of Pre and Prenatal Psychology and Health. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to join our podcast.
Well, I have quite a bit of time right now. It's really fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started.
All right. So I fell in love with birth after the birth of my first child and was still pretty enchanted with the whole process after my second and final child was born. And I wondered how I could stay involved in this magical process without being a parent of still more children. So I got involved initially. I just took a general childbirth educator course with Humber College here in Toronto. And then a year later, I became a doula. So I could follow up a little bit with what was happening with birth in the real world after I taught them and hopefully prepared them for the kind of birth they wanted. And I worked as a doula for quite a long time. And at some point, actually it's quite a while ago now, I was able to attend some births who the couple had attended, not hypnobirthing, but a similar hypnosis for birth course. And I really saw how amazingly well prepared those people were and how relaxed and focused, just a completely different birth experience. So I was pretty enchanted with the idea then of hypnosis. So I went actually first, I guess I wasn't familiar with hypnobirthing. So I went first and became a hypnotist with the National Guild of Hypnotists. And after that, I took one birthing hypnosis course. And it was someone actually later said to me, why don't you take hypnobirthing? And it was so nice to be I did. It was so nice to be, it was really well developed, and I just felt so well supported. And, you know, if birth was a great birth, it wasn't just because things had been really lucky. It was also because we were following a whole program that was making a profound difference.
Yeah, it's amazing. It seems to be quite popular in Europe at the moment, but I'm so glad that it's coming over to Canada, the hypnobirthing, and getting more and more popular. So tell us what makes your practice unique.
That's such an interesting question, because with hypnobirthing, we really do all follow the same syllabus, no matter where we are in the world, though it may be translated into another language. So I think the only things that I can bring are how I teach, and I have a tremendous number of birth stories, some from my own doula experience, but many from people who send me their birth stories. And I'm so pleased that in this day of short texts, people are still sending me long versions. I don't mean long boring, I mean long thrilling versions of their birth. So I still have lots and lots of stories. So I feel really lucky that people are communicating with me in that way and getting back to me. I think that my style of teaching is very flexible. Sometimes I read silly things like, is it still a hypnobirth if the woman has nitrous oxide to help her reduce the discomfort a little bit? And, you know, it's a hypnobirth if you take a mindset of hypnobirthing to the birth. And if you feel that some of the techniques and some of the belief systems that you developed in your course have helped you birth, then it's a hypnobirth.
How can clients benefit from hypnobirthing?
Well, here's an example. It's a kind of a profound, extreme example, but it was just a really moving experience I had with, I think, my most recent class. Was a woman who said, at least in her first or second class, when there were only 5, she said, I never wanted to be pregnant. Couples really excited about being pregnant. And she said this just was never something that she'd planned. And we spent a little time talking about it, she and I, not the whole class. And one of the things that she was afraid of, she had a lot of fears from her mother's stories of birth. So she said towards the end that the real big problem was that she was afraid of giving birth. And she said that the course, I ask them sometimes on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you of having the kind of birth you want? So she started out calling herself a 0 or maybe somewhere in the negatives. Just no confidence whatsoever that birth could be anything but terrifying. And she sent me her story, and she had a much calmer birth. She's really proud of herself. And by the end of the course, she was an 8 or 9, which is, high enough for me. She really felt she developed so much confidence. Plus, she sent her friends to me, which is, I think, a huge compliment to the course. So that's what it can do for somebody, anybody. It can take your fears down and build your confidence so that you really feel excited about the birth experience.
Wow, amazing. And what kind of techniques do you use with your clients?
So I teach them all the hypnobirthing techniques, and it's a wide variety of techniques. So one part is listening to recordings every day. And one is a series of affirmations, and the other one is a hypnosis script, taking you into relaxation and then giving you positive suggestions about birth. So that's a part of it that they listen every day. We do some exercises, hypnosis exercises, more and more inward. We do some touch and massage techniques that the partner can do to help build endorphins. We visualize the body opening and softening and relaxing. We do some breathing techniques. So they have breathing techniques for there are only 3 techniques, but really one for the contractions, which we like to call surges, one for the resting time between, and then another set of breathings for when you're actually bearing down, or we don't like to talk about pushing, but when you're bearing down and your baby's coming down and out. So lots and lots of techniques, quick relaxation techniques, more techniques than they can use.
Wow. Sounds really interesting. And do you have any advice for soon-to-be parents?
This is a really interesting time to be birthing. One of the things I was talking about with a group this morning was part of it was based on a quote that sometimes Muhammad Ali is attributed to him. And it's not the mountains we climb that wear us down. It's the pebble in your shoe. So we talked a little bit about what that meant. And I think rather than facing and confronting this really daunting thing of doing the whole labor and what will that be like, let's just break it down into the little pieces, chunk it down, I think we sometimes say in hypnosis, to the small pieces, and take a look at what you can do right now to prepare your mind and your body, and what decisions you can make about who you're birthing with and where you're birthing. And then just do the little pieces. They're all worried about, will they be able to have their partner with them in labor during this time of the virus? And, what will people be dressed in, and will they have to wear a mask? It's just the last few hours that you might need to be in the hospital. So let's let go of that fear of what's the hospital going to be like, because we really can't tell you right now. It's different in every hospital, so we can't even tell you tomorrow. But what we do know was that hypnosis is the perfect technique to help you learn to be internally focused and staying in the moment. And that's what I think we really want for labor, is to be in that focused hypnotic state.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think that's great for parents, especially in this type of time where there's so much uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
So considering all that, what's the future of your business look like?
Well, I have to say at the moment, it looks like it's going to be online. So that's a new challenge. Probably the biggest challenge for me is really feeling like I'm making a connection with people. And I think I am, and we're starting to build a little community, and it's so much fun to see people again every week, and I think for them to see each other. So that's my really big challenge. And I was thinking about this today, that my understanding is that as we come through this virus and start to come back to work, that we're going to do it gradually rather than all at once. And if we do it gradually, we're going to, do it by whatever makes most sense. And I can't help thinking that it probably makes most sense to keep pregnant women and their partners out of group settings for a little longer than some of the other people who are maybe a little bit less vulnerable. Though I'm not saying pregnant women are any way more vulnerable to the virus, but I think that because most of them will be going to the hospital, that there is that higher risk of infecting other people as well as them becoming infected. So that's kind of the short-term life that I'm looking at, though I think it could be, longer than a few months. So teaching online is a big thing that I'm doing, and I just plan on both continuing to teach hypnobirthing to expectant couples and also to train more hypnobirthing instructors. And I do most of my training with most people from Canada, though sometimes people come up from the US to train with me. So I'm really excited about sharing this program and seeing it shared more and more across the world. And it's kind of exciting that my next training is online, because it means that people who live in smaller communities where I will never go to teach because I won't have enough people there, they can just tune in from wherever they are, Saskatchewan or somewhere. So it's kind of exciting in a way to have this short-term time when we're offering online trainings.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad that you're looking at the bright side. Yeah, and I'm really excited to take your class too, which I will be taking in May.
Yes, yeah, I'm so glad you're coming. I hope you'll really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's already great. I've already looked over a lot of the information that you've sent, and it is just amazing. It's such an interesting practice, and I can't wait to be part of it.
Oh, I'm so thrilled. That's great. We'll have fun.
Yeah, well, if any of our audience would like to hear more on Jennifer's practice, please check out lifesjourney.ca to book a session. I myself will be taking Jennifer's class to become a certified hypnobirthing practitioner in May, and I look forward to learning more about the practice soon. Thank you, Jennifer.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me, Joanna.